Hello, this is Charting Man Dan of TheChartGuys, where we teach the little guy and girl how to utilize charts to manage their own trades and investments. What do I mean by the little guy and girl? Well, we just had two directives signed halting the implementation of a rule that requires financial advisors to act in the best interests of their client. Let that sink in a little bit. The big wigs on Wall Street can play with your retirement and hard-earned money without your best interests at heart. We currently have hundreds of members taking charge of their financial future, and we would love for you to come check out a free week with no credit card required to see if our services would be beneficial on your path to financial independence as well. What we offer, we have a separate course of over 5 hours in length on when to enter and exit positions. And in terms of what we do daily, we have nightly videos, key levels updated each morning before the bell, 2.5 hours of live daily webcam coverage in the morning and in the afternoon, and over 7 hours of educational videos. All of these links can be found in the description of this video. Come check us out. Thanks for watching. Let's get on to the technical analysis. Hey everybody, checking back in on MJ, doing a whole bunch of tickers. We're going to look at WEED, APH, ACB, OGI, EMC, OWCP, CBIS, NDEV, and GRNH. So doing a mix of all kinds of countries here. And starting with WEED, a very bullish day, and we've been watching higher lows and higher highs pattern play out for the past 6 weeks, and every time we pull back, everybody gets nervous, but we keep forming higher lows. So 966 was the last level. We have a new level now at 972, and we just broke to a higher high. This is the highest price that we have seen on this bounce playing out. The last time we were at these levels was back in mid-December, so this is significantly bullish. We have not been above the daily upper Bollinger Band since back on the February, or I should say the November breakout. So we have an increase in bull volume, we have a close above the upper Bollinger Band at the high of the day, and the next resistance levels we're looking at are 1064, 11, and 1117. Now we're playing some catch up here because names like ACB and APH, they broke their high of December 14th already, and for WEED, that's up at 1117. So still a ways to go to catch up with breaking that resistance level, but a ton of strength here. The weekly time frame, really strong close, maintaining exponential supports, and continuing to the upside. 5-minute time frame, look at WEED at the end of the day. Big volume coming in, huge run. We were down at 1032, and 25 minutes later, we're up at 1052. So there was a rally here into the end of the day, some big bull volume pouring in, perhaps some people wanting to get in over the weekend, maybe thinking that the name change is going to give some publicity over the weekend, but either way, a lot of people wanted shares before the close, and that's why we saw that run up. So checking now on to the next. APH. So APH did see a nice bounce. We are in a bit more of a downtrend. So you see that trend of WEED that we just formed with higher lows and higher highs, but here we're forming lower highs and lower lows now on APH. And key support is down at $5 and 502. We're seeing resistance at 550. Bulls are holding on. The range is tightening. Support is 542. Resistance is 550. Then we're looking up at 560 and 565. Everywhere where we set a lower high is a resistance level, and the bulls need to break that lower high pattern to resume the uptrend. So the weekly time frame is a bullish candlestick, and this is a good save by the bulls because last week it was looking pretty grim in terms of losing the exponential support, which is the levels that the bulls want to hold to continue looking the strongest, as we have held this support on APH for the past 7 months. So close at the high of the week. Bulls ideally want to start breaking those daily lower highs, and a key level is 575. That's going to be a big one when we get back to that level. Middle Bollinger Band is still catching up. ACB. So we had the bearish reaction to the dilution and the fundraising. So I personally exited my position and still was able to get out on profit. I sold half of my position when we were up in the 260s, and then I exited once I saw that the bulls were not showing up after buying the dip. So new support is down at 225. We've got resistance at 234 and 247. The bulls have a long way to go to turn around this daily trend here on ACB. And we have a potential bear flag after 5 red days, a short-term weak bounce, and now the bears are taking back over. So if we see a break of 225, we're looking down at 203 as the next support level from back towards the end of December. And this is not the kind of chart that the bulls want to be in, which is why I personally exited. So the weekly time frame, you can see that big bearish engulfing candlestick, further continuation to the downside, and the bulls are looking to form a new level of support and try and turn around that daily chart, just like APH. OGI is slowly trying to recover, but it too has not broken the lower high pattern. I'm looking at 285, 283, and 280. We can see we're just incrementally setting lower highs, but we're also setting higher lows, so the range is getting very, very tight. I've been looking at key support of 266 and key resistance of 285. That's the range that I would be watching. Break of 285, and we'll see if the bulls can get over the upper Bollinger Band on the daily, but that will be the start of changing the trend. The weekly time frame is barely clinging on to this middle Bollinger Band of 277, and bulls need to see these exponential resistances turn back into support and need to keep up with this 20-week moving average support. If we lose that level, we are looking down at 251 support. So OGI is another name trying to turn things around, not looking that strong yet. No other name is looking as strong as wheat is for the short term heading into next week. EMC. So we had a lot of people getting this bounce at 350 on a big dump day. We were down 8% plus that day. Now, why did we know 350 was going to act as support? Well, we didn't just guess. It was because on the first IPO trading day, we had a rejection from 350, we turned it into support, and then we bounced off of it as support. So that right there, seeing the price action around that round psychological number, had me pay attention to that level from here on out. And we can see after we pulled back from that level, we tried to get over it, and we did get over it, and then we pulled back, and then it acted as support again, 352. Now again, technical analysis is not an exact science. I always give a couple penny wiggle room on things. So seeing that test again and that price coming back into play affirmed my belief that it would be a key level to be looking at a potential entry for. So here, once we rapidly approached that price, we bounced off 350 to the penny and saw a close up at 371 for a very quick, nice bounce. Now, we didn't get any follow through for that bounce. We did not confirm the bullish reversal candlestick. We have multiple inside candlesticks in a row showing the range is getting very, very tight, and we're going to see a break on Monday. 355 is a must-hold support. That's the low of the past 2 days, and resistance is 367, 369, and then 375 was the high of the bounce attempt back on Wednesday. So not the kind of follow-through the bulls wanted, but support is still holding, and it was the kind of entry that allowed everybody to put their stop loss at break even. So worst case scenario, nothing happens, and we step back and look to make another entry. Weekly time frame, the bulls need a higher low to form, and then we're going to be looking back up towards the $4 area. But as of this point in time, the weekly chart, not nearly enough lower wick to give bulls confidence that the low has been set here. We need some follow through back to the upside towards 375 resistance. OWCP, perfect bounce off the middle Bollinger Band. We saw a bullish reversal hammer off of the middle Bollinger Band. It did not get confirmed. We saw a tightening range, but then on Thursday, another bounce off that level, really strong, and a close at the high of the day. Little gap up open today. Not much follow through, some indecision. Whenever you see a strong move like this, you want to be buying the day before when we're closing at the high of the day, not the day of the gap up. Gap ups are for selling. We saw some profit taking due to that, and you want to be in before and hold overnight if the stock is going to close at the high of the day. So middle Bollinger Band, key support, 56 cents currently. It's going to ascend, and we're going to watch this tightening range. We have our high, our low of consolidation, lower high, higher low, potentially lower high, but this range is just going to continue to get tighter and tighter, and it is going to give us a clear break some point in the near-term future. The weekly time frame, still holding the upper Bollinger Band in breakout mode, bulls buying the dip in a big way. That upper Bollinger Band is 65 cents, and will be around 70 cents to start next week. CBIS, another one that has that tightening equilibrium pattern. There's our high, our low, lower high, higher low. So the range that I'm currently watching is 10.3 support and 13.05 resistance. Bulls showed up with a little bit of volume today. They didn't get enough follow through to be convincing, but this is a very strong daily chart, and CBIS has turned into the U.S. leader. MJNA is not doing much. CBIS has some big volume on this move, and we're looking good on this weekly time frame. We broke the high from pre-election. Not many U.S. names have done that, and now we're consolidating, forming inside candlesticks. Bulls are still holding up in this name very well, and we're going to see if that trickles over into any other in the sector, but as of right now, CBIS is exclusively the strongest name that I'm watching in terms of the most familiar USMJ names. NDEV is also getting extremely tight. The range that I'm watching here is 765 support and resistance of 87. So we have pulled back, we bounced, still rejecting, trading sideways, and need to see a break of 87 cents, turn this middle Bollinger Band into support, which is 87 cents and dropping, to see any kind of bounce play out But it's getting so tight that we know a move is imminent as the range continues to tighten, but the bears had momentum closing at the low of the day today as we had pulled back now 4 days in a row. So a break of 765, we're going to be looking down at 7.4 and 5.9. So those are key supports to hold. Last thing the bulls want to see is those levels break to head down to 5.9. Weekly time frame, bullish reversal, doji did not get confirmed. You can see the tightening, very low volume. Ideal scenario for the bulls would have been a green week after that bullish reversal hammer to confirm it, but we haven't gotten that strength yet, and volume is just drying up as we're trading so tight. So keep an eye on a spike in volume on the daily time frame to indicate a break is coming. The highest volume we've seen in a couple weeks is 470,000. So if we see a day coming with over 500,000 shares trading, and you can do that analysis by comparing, let's say if we have 200,000 shares traded in the first half hour of the day, we know it's pretty likely that we're going to see 500,000 shares traded because that volume is trickling in or coming in so fast. So keep an eye on the volume for an indication of a break of that range, and it should occur within the next 2 weeks. Last, we've got GRNH. It had a bearish break on Thursday. We were maintaining higher lows, getting very tight, and then the bears took over on a spike in volume. The bulls bought the dip a little bit. We are bouncing off 85-cent support. Look at these lows, 8.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Held it again, but we need follow through, and we need to get back up towards 10 cents. The weekly time frame is rejecting from the 200-week resistance, so CBIS broke the high of pre-election. GRNH would have to get above 15.9 to do that. So rejecting from the 200-week moving average resistance for a month in a row, that is at about 10.8 right now, just below 11 cents, and we're holding the middle Bollinger Band support. So the weekly is a tightening range between the middle Bollinger Band support, which is ascending, and the flat line of 200-week horizontal resistance, which is just under 11 cents. So those are the two levels I'm going to be watching on the weekly time frame for a potential signal that the bulls are showing back up. Close above the 200-week will be a significant sign if and when we do get it. So lots to be watching. Weed is back in charge for the short-term bulls. EMC, we'll see if we break 350 support. If we break 350, the next level I'm looking at is 339, and that's previous resistance, now support because the price is above it. And everything else, that's what we've got heading into next week. I appreciate you watching. I know there's a lot of video requests for other tickers, but can't possibly do the dozens and dozens and dozens of tickers that everybody wants. So these are the most popular ones. These are the ones that I have my eyes on. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.